ladies and gentlemen, I give you Black Ops 1. What's going on, guys? Great Disciple back with another gameplay. And I am so happy to finally be uploading some Black Ops 1. I had hoped initially that the first gameplays you would have seen from me on Black Ops 1 would have been from backwards compatibility. But it never happened, and I'm to the point where I don't think it ever will. Before I begin, I want to give a big shout out to Corbin Danger. It's Unmitigated Rage's son. Without him, I wouldn't be able to do this. He found the necessary piece that I needed in order to get this gameplay. I don't know if you guys remember, the Xbox 360 came in a couple of different options when it first released, and one of them was I think a 4 GB option. And so whenever you started buying these map packs, it would fill up the hard drive very quickly on the Xbox 360. So you had to buy external hard drives or those little USB things from Xbox so you could download the map packs and you plug them in and you can play them. Well, Corbin found that piece that I needed, so I appreciate it, bud. So now, let me say this before I begin in the gameplay. I have a lot, and I mean a lot of gameplays from Black Ops 1 that you guys will never see. Back when I played Black Ops 1, I didn't know anything about capturing gameplays or saving gameplays. So what would happen is when I would get a really good game, I would put it in my file share, which if you remember, your file share could only hold 6 games. And then after my friends watched it, I would replace it with other games as I got them. So the games that I still have remaining on my file share were some of the last games that I ever played on Black Ops 1. I have one on Stadium, which was a demo game, which you guys will see. I have my very first 100 kill game, which just so happened on Silo of all maps. I couldn't believe it. I have this gameplay where I ran around with the MP5K, which was my favorite SMG. I know everybody leaned towards the AK-74U, but I love the MP5K, partly because my favorite YouTuber on Black Ops 1 was Fearkrats, and he loved playing with that gun, and I copied his setup. So I have this gameplay on firing range with it, so if you guys want to see that, let me know. So Black Ops 1 was where it all started for me, and I'll give you a little bit of a story on it, okay? So, I mean, I can go pretty far back here, but I remember I was hanging out with Rage, and he was talking about how he got this Xbox 360 and he was going to play Call of Duty Black Ops 1. And I was like, oh, that's cool, because I had a PS3 at the time. He's like, you really ought to get an Xbox 360 so we can play together. And I was like, no, if I want to play with you, I'll just come over to your house. He's like, no. You can buy an Xbox 360 and we can connect the Xbox 360s and we can play together. You can be at your house, I can be at mine. I'm like, really? I was like, alright. So I think 2 days later I went to the store and bought an Xbox. I mean, at that time I had a daughter, but you know, money wasn't really an issue, and I just went and I bought one. So now I had an Xbox 360 and a PS3. So I come home, I hook it up, and I give him a call. I'm like, okay, let's play together. He's like, well, you got to connect it to your Wi-Fi. And I was like, you didn't tell me I had to buy Wi-Fi. He's like, yeah, you just connect it. And I was like, well, where do I get it? Do I go back to Walmart and buy Wi-Fi? He's like, no, it's your internet. And I was so confused, you guys. I had no idea what he was talking about. So I finally figured out that I needed to have a router, and you know, you connect to the Wi-Fi. So it took me a little bit. All right, I was a little slow with electronics back then. Okay, I'd never heard of anything like this. So I finally connect to Wi-Fi, and he has to contact his friend to teach us how to do this, okay? So, boom, we're both finally on Black Ops 1. So I joined his party, and we're talking to each other on these real cheap headsets, right? And he's like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, we're both kind of new to the game. Why don't we go to this boot camp? He's like, all right. So we get into boot camp, and we wreck. Alright, and we're so confident. And he was like, I don't know what people are talking about, how this game is so difficult. I mean, we're destroying everybody. We put about, oh, I don't know, 15 to 20 hours worth of gameplay into boot camp. Right? And we're averaging like a 2 to a 3 KD on recruit. We thought we were just legit gamers, right? So he's at work and he's talking to one of his friends about how good he is and how we dominate on boot camp. And he's like, wait a minute. You're playing boot camp? He said, you're not playing anybody. You're playing the computer. You have to go into actual multiplayer. And he showed us how to do it. So we go into multiplayer and we get absolutely stomped. Okay? I mean, just destroyed. I was that guy Once I figured out what Ghost was, I was that guy who would cap your home flag in domination, go run and hide in a corner, and over the course of a 10-minute domination game, I would probably go 7-6. Rage, on the other hand, was that guy who would run out like crazy and die 50 times and get 6 kills. I mean, that was just our mentality. And he eventually told me about YouTube, which I'd never heard of up to that point, and how there were some gamers who would upload their gameplay and you could go watch them play. And I started watching X-Jaws and the Market J, which led me into Fear Crats, and I watched Woody's Gamer Tag and Wings of Redemption, and I started learning their setups and how they would rotate. I finally figured out what pro perks meant and how to pro them out, what kill streaks did, and all that kind of stuff, and I started getting pretty good at the game. And I guess about 6 months in, I didn't start playing Call of Duty Black Ops 1 until I think the end of December, beginning of January. And about 6 months in, I started getting really good at the game. And before the game was at its final point, I was dropping, 90, 100 kill games pretty regularly. My favorite guns in the game were, I love the Galil, I like the Commando, the G11, the MP5K, the AK-74U, but my favorite gun of all time in any Call of Duty is the FAMAS. I was very good with the FAMAS. All different types of setups. Towards the end of the game, I primarily played lightweight. Middle game, I played hardline. In the beginning, I played Ghost a lot. Love sleight of hand. I liked Scavenger when I wanted to go on long streaks. My favorite third tier perk was Marathon, just because I love to run. And that's something to keep in mind, you guys. On these remastered games, they didn't have unlimited sprint, which got really, really annoying. Okay, so that's one thing that you can look forward to with the Infinite Warfare offering, but I'm not going to go into that, alright? But no, this was the game that started it all for me. It was the game where I got hooked on Call of Duty, and I played for hours. The best DLC ever, in my opinion, was DLC 1 for Black Ops 1. It had Stadium and Kowloon and Berlin. Oh my goodness, I loved those maps. Playing Berlin over and over and over, man, that game was awesome. Brings back so many memories watching this, how clunky it was. Of course, you felt like you were moving, 100 miles an hour while you were playing the game, but man, comparing this to Black Ops 3, I mean, this is nothing. And I go back and I watch these old gameplays like on Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 3, and I forgot how loud these games were. But it was really cool because nobody used any sound perks back then. I mean, I know there was dead silence, and some people ran it during Search and Destroy, but for the most part, nobody ran sound perks. They weren't worth it in the end, right? Man, I miss this game. I would say this, if I could have any gun back, it would be the G11. If I could convince Treyarch to bring a gun back, it would be the G11. There was something about that gun that, it was so before its time, and the burst, I love the reload mechanics on it. I'm going to bring you some gameplays. That 102 kill game that I got on Silo, that is that's a gameplay with the G11. Not many people played with the G11. They didn't really like it. They played with the M16, the FAMAS, and the Galil, and the Commando, and the AK-47, but not many people liked that G11. But for some reason, I loved it. I loved how strong it was, where if I hit somebody with a crisp burst, they were going to die. I always thought that was really, really cool. So you guys tell me. I can show you a firing range game, which is I think about 60, 70 kills. I can show you a gameplay on Stadium, which was like 113 kills. Or I can bring you the Silo gameplay, which is 102 kills. It's a demo game. I'll have to chop it up some. But yeah, man. Gosh, I loved this game so much. And the streaks, man. Napalm. I don't know why no game has brought back Napalm. I always thought that was so cool. You could like cordon off an entire area of the map with fire, and it would continually burn for a little bit, so if people ran into it, I love that idea. The carpet bomber, which was kind of pointless in a way, and that chopper gunner. I think I got 3 or 4 chopper gunners in this game. If you guys never played Black Ops 1, you're missing out, man. That chopper gunner was awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a thumbs up if you did. Put a comment down below, and as always, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.